a little bit about what we're doing. Again, if you were here last week, what we covered was we're still working on that. Not much has changed. We are working on the Tim Tebow bill, which would basically allow homeschoolers to participate in UIL-sanctioned activities. This would include sports at public schools as well as extracurriculars, things like debate team and things like that. Also chess club and different organizations and opportunities and activities you can do in public schools, as well as the TPRA, which would be the Texas Parental Rights Restoration Act. What that would do is, like I mentioned last week, is that would close the loophole in the family code, which would basically what it does, as it stands right now, is it would allow grandparents to actually sue for access to their children, to their grandchildren, for an unextended period of time. And basically, what that would do is this would allow them to take possession of the kids for however long they need to, because the court has not defined the amount of time that they would be allowed to do this. It would also not require, it also currently does not require the judge to prove that the parents are unfit or that the situation is an emergency situation. So we were trying very hard to close that loophole. We were working with quite a few representatives and senators on actually both sides of the aisle to close these issues. We feel, especially with the Tim Tebow bill, we don't feel like it's a partisan issue, and we feel that it's something that we're really ready to pass this session. We are in the minority of states now that does not have the Tim Tebow bill actually in place or some form of it. 29 other states already have it. We are trying very hard for Texas to actually get that. Something else we're working on right now is, let's see if I can find it. So right now we're also working kind of in reference to the Texas Parental Rights Restoration Act. The the Family Law Foundation actually filed 2 bills, which would actually, that current loophole that I was telling you about, it would actually expand that to letting, it would allow that. So the way it is currently, I forgot to mention, is basically that the grandparents can sue against a single parent. That's how it is written right now. What they're wanting to do is they're wanting to expand that loophole actually against what we're trying to do. They want to expand it actually to include all parents, which we again would believe can make it even worse. We try to give parents at least the benefit of the doubt. We believe in parental rights, and we believe that if you're acting within the confines of the law, we believe that you have the right to educate your children how you feel, and as well as punishing and whatnot. As long as you're in with the confines of the law, we don't believe that grandparents should overrule what the parents say. We definitely don't feel like the court should be giving that possession to the grandparents if it's not unwarranted. Other than that, we are also working on Byron Cook has filed a bill which would change the ethics rules, which would actually alter the way that organizations like THSC and other organizations here would actually have to report certain things. And it would basically make it to where I believe everyone would have to register as a political action committee and report certain expenditures and volunteer hours and things like that. We feel like that's kind of a problem as well. We like the way the current system is right now as it stands. We're hoping just
the problem with the bill is it's outrageously unconstitutional.
Yes, it just doesn't make any sense. So we're working against that one as well. That is one thing that we're focusing on this week, I believe, as well as we did follow a lot of the immunization stuff that happened last week as well. We're hoping for a good outturn on that once those come before the committee for votes. And we did have some testifying on that as well. Jeremy Newman, our policy director at THSC, spoke against, I believe, one of the immunization bills, and we also fixed a problem last week with a 2,000-page bill in the House and Senate, which basically kind of similar to the Texas Parental Rights Restoration Act, but basically what it do is it was removing a word from the family code that would basically allow for someone to sue for it's a restraining order. And basically kind of the same thing, the judge would not have to make sure that met the emergency requirements. And we met with both the House bill author and the Senate bill author, and we were able to fix that problem. And that's kind of what we're working on. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I think I've met several of you. I'd love to meet the rest of you afterward as well. Any questions at all? All right.
Thanks, Super Chip.
Yes, sir.